Well, first of all, we have really smart students, but I think that's to be expected. We have the highest SATs in the state. What I like about our students is that they're compassionate and they are interested in other things. Again, I teach in the English department. I'm a university distinguished professor, which allows me to teach across campus. I have had some architectural master's programs that I've directed, but mostly I'm a writer, and I am housed here in English. I have begun the process of moving myself over into honors, because honors again throws a big net, and so you get a lot of different kind of students in honors, and that's exciting. I've been at Virginia Tech for 25 years. Well, the Hokie spirit is very strong, and I was here, of course, at Virginia Tech when my cancer was diagnosed, and so I was being embraced by the Hokie Nation. I'm a big fan, not in a religious sense, but I'm a big fan of prayer, because prayer is energy, and I believe I'm the beneficiary of these prayers that have gone out to help people like me. I think that probably most people would say that. I will say it's a good idea to be alive, and if you got a lump, go see about it. If something doesn't seem to be right, don't wait. Go check it right now. If you feel funny, go see about it, because everybody wants, well, it'll go away. No. It's like with your automobile, when you hear the little click, 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 it will not go away. It will only get worse. You are your own automobile. Take it to the shop. Go see about it and check it out, because it's easier to prevent anything, or it's easier to stop something than it is to cure it, when it gets to be a big deal. So take care of yourself, and we need you. We need you to give back to the university. So we don't want you dead. We want you to be around. So take care of you. It's important. Take care of yourself. And no matter what Hokie spirit is about, I said earlier, respect, but it's also about love. And that's important. We've seen a lot of hateful things lately, and I don't think hate has any place in the Hokie Nation. We embrace each other. We love our planet. We love the possibilities. We invent the future. Well, honesty always helps. And I am a cancer survivor. I had lung cancer, and that was very important. The same lung cancer that I have now had for 13 years, took my sister out in under a year. She had lung cancer, and she was diagnosed, and less than a year later, she was dead. So there are things that we know, there are things that we don't know. I was very fortunate in that my doctor actually, after everything was over, said, gosh, I didn't think you'd survive. I said, Kenneth, I'm so glad you didn't mention that to me while I was getting ready to go be operated on. And I thought that was good. Sometimes people say, well, you want to know the truth. No, I would like a little cheer. And if I die, I'll be the first to know it. And so you let me think that you think that it's going to be all right, so that I go into it. I had an operation. They took my right lung and 2 ribs out. And I am now, as you know, back to the same chance of dying of cancer as if I had never had cancer. And for me, and for people like me, that's the best that it's going to get. Gary's my oldest, her name is Gary, is my older sister. My mother was upset because my mother wanted my surgeon to operate on my sister. But my sister's, and again, I'm a layperson, so I don't know why, but her cancer had metastasized very quickly from her lungs to her liver to the brain, so it was not an operable situation, and it was not a situation that was going to yield to chemotherapy or radiation, though of course radiation, as you know, keeps you more comfortable. The reason we do radiation essentially in cases like that is to keep you comfortable. But why? That's not a question that I can answer. That's a question that science has to answer. I'm a poet, and so I know you can't say why. You have to say, how do I turn this, again, into an opportunity to be something better than I was before I knew it. I think that cancer is not frightening, and that we live in an industrial world, and sometimes people will say, well, what did you do? You lived. And I'm sure that it doesn't help to smoke. I think smoking is a bad idea. And actually, your skin looks so much better when you quit smoking. People don't realize that, not to mention your breath smells better. But nonetheless, you didn't do something to catch cancer. Cancer developed and somehow got out of control in your body. We're probably all carrying something that if we live long enough will turn into something. Almost everybody has a spot on their lungs, speaking of lungs. If you are unfortunate enough to run into somebody who has, say, tuberculosis, it will ignite your spark, and next thing you know, you've got TB, which we almost don't have anymore. But I'm saying, you know, the human body contains a lot of contradictions. And so the human mind controls, in many respects, the human body. You have to stay cheerful. I am almost always cheerful. I look for, almost everything that I look at is as an opportunity, including, should this be the case, cancer is an opportunity to transition. And that's the way I was looking at it. Like, if I'm going to die, then this is what we do, and this is an opportunity to do this well, because you can't go kicking and screaming. It's not good for you. And you certainly can't get depressed. It's not good for you. And you can't do what I'm actually complaining about with my own life right now. You can't get overstressed. You know you have cancer, and you're hoping you're going to either get better or negotiate this space. But you have to let people, I think, talk about it, and you have to deal with, you know, you're not there to give advice. And you're not there. I'll tell you, the one thing that I didn't want to hear from anybody was about my doctor. I had picked my doctor, and if I had died, I'm going to die with my doctor. I don't need you to tell me he's not a good doctor. None of that, because this is my trip, and you're on my train. So ride it, you know. And I also think, because my sister, of course, Gary knew she was dying. I mean, that was, you know, she said, I'm dying. And it's like, yeah, okay, but not today. So if we're not going to die today, what will we do? And we kept doing things until she couldn't do things, in which case it was perfectly all right. She was having chemo, and so her hair fall, you know, chemo makes your hair fall out. And so her hair fell out, and that depressed her. And I said, you can't be depressed. I mean, that's not allowed. You're just not allowed to be depressed. And our father had a really fantastic head. Gus had I always called him Gus, but Gus had a beautiful head. And so when Gary lost all of her hair, I just went to the barbershop here and had it all buzzed down. So I said, you see how great we look? You know, so we were laughing and I think that helped, because you have to find something to laugh at. And, you know, you get your toenails painted, and you just do what you have to do. I'm not big on advice. I wasn't trying to give her advice. I wasn't trying to give my mother advice, because my mother's losing her oldest child. So that is going to be an incredibly unhappy experience, and nothing that I can say is going to make that any better. So you just sit and let both of them talk to you at various times. Emotionally, it's difficult for the caregiver, but the caregiver has to remember that in a lot of cases, the caregiver dies and the patient goes on to another caregiver. So you have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure you laugh. You have to make sure you get a massage. I'm a big fan of massages, pedicure. You have to make sure that good things are happening to you, because death is a part of life. And we cannot take that away. And I don't think we should take away, I'm a big fan of death with dignity. I don't think that we should make people have to hide that they are dying. They're not doing something to us. This is their trip, and we're just on their train. So it's not like, oh, you know how people stay with me, you know, don't. Hey, come on, just I'm here. This is all you can do. I'm here, and I'll be here with you. That's all I can do. So you have to take care of yourself. You have to drink, you know, your water, but you have to laugh. I always recommend falling in love, because it always makes you feel better and makes you look better, and you take better care of yourself when you're in love than when you're not. So, you know, you have to do the things that make it work.